Is there a golden ticket or is it just luck? It's a question I often ask fellow still photographers. For Ana, it was really about being in the right place at the right time. After meeting with a Netflix producer at an event, she landed a working relationship with the platform without any on-set experience or indie credits to her name. I got here your life story.
My work story.
Your work story for the last couple of years. But first, tell me, let's rewind the clock to the time when you started as a photographer. Were you always a photographer? How the relationship with you and the camera started?
I got my first camera from my dad when I was 12. He gave me a Polaroid, very easy to use. Yeah. And I just absolutely loved it. So I started taking pictures when I was young. And then when I was in high school, I took darkroom classes and I absolutely loved it. For my VA, I studied media, and on the side, I started taking more formal photography lessons. And then I came to England to study my MA in photography. So basically, I just love taking pictures.
When did you come to London?
2019.
2019. What was your background before then? What were you photographing?
I was already a stills photographer before I came to England, but I also collaborated with loads of magazines, private commissions, editorial work. I used to do a lot more fashion. I don't shoot fashion anymore, but back in the day, I used to do a lot of fashion and beauty.
Mm-hmm. How did it happen that you became a unit stills?
I think it was just right time, right place. I know that it's not the type of answer people want. I feel like there's not like a straight path, but because I was in the editorial world, one of my friends, he used to work in a cinema magazine.
Yep.
And he was like, hey, I need a B camera for this event. Turns out the event was a launch for a Netflix show in Mexico.
Oh, okay.
And so I was there being camera B. I took a picture of the publicist. I sent it to him. He loved the picture. He messaged me back, have you ever done stills? And I was like, what are stills? Well, you're about to find out.
And what show was that?
I did a show, I think in English is called, I actually don't know what it's called in English.
Hang on.
It's the first one on my list.
Crime Diaries?
No.
Monarca?
Yeah, Crime Diaries. Sorry, it had a different name in Spanish.
What's the name in Spanish?
La historia de un crimen.
Yeah, similar.
Yeah.
Crime Diaries. But this is Mexico.
Yes.
Okay.
So I started doing stills in Mexico, but I literally have never been on a set before in my life.
So your first set experience was on a Netflix show?
Yes. I was very lucky.
Yeah. But how do you feel?
Yeah, I feel that it was like a calling, It felt like this is a right place to be. I had so much fun in that show. Well, so after that, when I did Monarca, Monarca, it was a very big show in Mexico because the producer is Ventana Rosa, that is owned or lead by Salma Hayek. And so she was very interested in the show to look amazing. So basically, I'm being Salma Hayek's photographer, and I've met her. So,
but how was your experience on set? Were you nervous? What am I gonna do? Do you know set etiquette?
Not by that point. So I feel that in Monarca, I learned because Monarca was a 6-month show. And I was not doing dailies. I was there almost full time. They film in Mexico City, but they also film in Guadalajara, that is a city outside, up north.
Yeah.
So that was very full on. And the first AD, he really taught me my place. I don't know if that makes sense, but he was very strict. So I felt that that's where I learned the actual job. And also I was very lucky that the publicist that hired me for these jobs, he was super kind with me and he gave me a lot of direction and a lot of, understanding of what a publicist in Netflix is looking for, basically, and what he actually needs and what are the pictures supposed to look like and what's a good picture and what's a bad picture. I feel that he was extremely patient because I feel that publicists nowadays, they don't have the time probably to really sit down with you and tell you what's working from your take and what's not. So yeah, I was very lucky to work with him. He was very nice.
From Crown Diaries, you move into Monarca.
Yes.
Monarca is says 10 episodes, 2019. You did all of them from that series. Did Monarca lead to Alex Fernandez?
No, Alex Fernandez was just like a stand-up comedy stuff. So
Okay.
I feel that one of my biggest talents is that I can flow between different sets. So I can be doing scripted and unscripted.
Okay.
So Alex Fernandez was a theater, you know, like these comedy specials that Netflix just do.
Yeah.
And it was really fun. I managed to do the key art, so that was really cool.
Wow.
It was my first key art ever. So
How do you feel on the first key art? Were you nervous? Do you know what to do? Do you know what they were expecting from you?
I've always tried to be very confident. I think I nailed it.
But do you have a shot list of what the publicity wanted?
Not for that one specifically, but I do have like references of how it's supposed to look like and creative direction, and you work in hand with the publicity and the marketing team in this case to just develop exactly what they're looking for. But I feel that, I don't know if it's still the case, but I feel that they really wanted also to me to input my vision and like my style. And that's exactly what I did.
Demon.
Right. So I was looking at these stats the other day of like the best Mexican shows in Netflix till date. And basically they are all the shows that I did in Mexico, that list.
Wow.
Diablero, what is called in Spanish, they did 2 seasons. It's one with one of the most iconic actors in the country. It was very creepy because it was like a scary show, but it was just super fun. The locations were creepy, super creepy, but it was very fun. I feel that by that point, I felt more comfortable being on set, but still not like super, super, super comfortable. But it was, the crew was the same as Monarca or similar, so that really helped.
Where does El Chapo lands into this? Is El Chapo one of the best shows in Mexico as well? It's the Netflix production, isn't it?
Well, it's Narcos most. Yeah, so Narcos is really good as well. I can show you the list. It's quite interesting. It's 10 shows.
Okay, but El Chapo is part of Narcos.
I don't know which one that show is actually.
El Chapo.
¿No he visto ese show?
Okay, but it's on Netflix. It's from Mexico as well, so... Okay.
Maybe.
House of Flowers. Is that Mexico so?
Yeah, and Manolo Caro, I would say that is one of the most influential and one of the biggest directors in Mexico, and probably Spain as well. He produces a lot in Spain. His shows has always been a blast. He's super funny. For that specific show, I did not do stills. I only did cast announcements.
Okay.
So I went to one of the major scenes that it was the wedding. And it was super fun because the publicist had this vision that he wanted the cast announcements to be like wedding portraits of all the cast members. So it was super fun to make.
So basically for covering one show that you were on the right place and the right time, that led you to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Netflix shows.
Yeah, and really like just one next to the other.
Without any set experience.
Yes.
Ever since you started with your long Netflix list of shows, have you done any indie work? Like features and nothing?
Not at all. I mean, I've done a few more now that I'm in England.
Yeah.
But in Mexico,
Nothing. What did it happen that bring you, or what brought you to here to the UK? To London.
Aside of being a stills photographer, I have an art practice as a photographer. So I wanted to expand my relationship with photography and my understanding of photography. I just love it so much. So I came to England to study a master's in photojournalism and documentary photography, which was amazing. One of the best things I've done for myself, and one of my personal dreams to study in-depth photography, because as I've said, I did courses, I've done like workshops and whatnot, but I didn't have like a proper education in photography. and I've done that and I absolutely loved it. So I have a really strong background in fine arts as well, and film photography and analog processes and telling stories through photography, that I feel that feeds into my work as a unit stills as well.
And how were you able to continue that relationship with Netflix from Mexico to here? Because it's two different worlds.
So my dad was really worried. He was like, why you move now? You finally have like something really solid. He was very worried that it was not going to work. So I was worried as well. And basically I convinced the publicists in Mexico to recommend me with their colleagues in England. So when I first started, it was Netflix US, the person who hired me, because the Mexican office hadn't opened. So I started working with Netflix US for these shows that we mentioned.
Yeah.
And then by Control Zeta, that is, I think, the last show I filmed in Mexico, that was finally a Mexican production, or like they were like passing it over from Netflix US to Netflix Mexico. And then the Alejandro Fernandez show was a Mexican Netflix Mexico. So I came like from the US down to Mexico. And then when I moved to UK, I was like, guys, can you just like tell this out of the world? I've been doing this with you. And I had an interview with one of like the manager of the publicist of Netflix UK. And she was extremely kind and to bring me over the shows. Wow. I owe her everything. I wouldn't be in a position where I am right now if it wasn't for her.
Wow. Again, right time, right place. And what year did you move here?
2019, but I couldn't work because I was a student, so I had to wait a little bit.
And when did your first Netflix UK came in?
So I did Top Boy.
Was that the first one?
I think the first one, I think it was Top Boy or Anatomy of a Scandal.
No, Anatomy. Anatomy 2022. And well, it's kind of the same year, Top Boy 2022.
Yeah. I'm not sure which one I filmed first, or maybe kind of at the same time. But I did Anatomy of a Scandal. That was super interesting to do because, so I come from Mexico to filming with, yes, A-listers in Mexico. But then I come to the UK and I'm filming with A-listers in the UK. So it is definitely not the same experience.
Yeah.
Sets in Mexico are very different from sets in England.
Yeah.
Even the words are different. You know, even though I feel that my English is to a good level, the slang and the lingo is so specific. So I did struggle a little bit. But yeah, it was great filming with Sienna Miller. I mean, Rupert Friend. Wow. Michelle.
How was your experience on set here in the UK? As you arrived, was it what you were expecting, or was it, I don't know, completely different? Or was there something new that you had to learn that you didn't know how to do? Or
well, I feel that they have a lot more structure here regarding sets. Also, the hours are shorter.
Oh, wow. How many hours were you shooting then?
Sometimes in Mexico, I will film 12 hours or more.
Here is 10, I think. Here
is 10. So I quite enjoy that, having like a shorter day as well. Also, call sheets in Mexico. I mean, I don't know how it's now. Obviously, I'm sure things have changed, but sometimes they wouldn't do the whole call sheet, or where they'll do more pages than the call sheet said. I feel that it's a little bit more like over the place. Still, shows get done and they're amazing. But yeah, I feel that England is a lot more structured and formal.
Yeah. And so Top Boy is a show that puts your name on the list.
Yeah, I feel that because it's such an iconic show and it's massive in the UK. Everyone knows Top Boy, right? Everyone has seen it, or maybe they haven't seen it, but they have heard about it. Maybe they saw the seasons in BBC. Maybe they saw the new seasons in Netflix. So I feel that show really put me on the spot because it was such a legendary show.
Yeah.
Because Anatomy of a Scandal was an amazing show. I loved it, but it was season 1. So if you say Anatomy of a Scandal to someone who hasn't seen the show, it's like, yeah, what is that? But if you say Top Boy.
Yeah, there is some references from before.
Yes,
then.
Exactly. It's so big. So that really helped me out. And it's because of Top Boy that I did Gangs of London. So it's crazy how one of the first shows that I did in the UK is basically the last show that I have right now on air.
And How do you feel? How do you feel doing Top Boy? Such an iconic job, and you were there. How was that experience on set?
It was great. It was super fun. One of the directors, Miriam, I'm just so grateful with her vision. It's so fun. It's so nice to work with her. She creates a really good working environment. All the directors of Top Boy were super fun to work with. The crew was amazing. And the crew who did Top Boy also kind of did Supercell. So
there were people that you knew already when you went into
so it was
Supercell.
fun to go from Top Boy to work on Supercell. And then some of the same crew was in the kitchen that I did some dailies after so they did a reshoot and I did some stills in the reshoot. So it's crazy how I feel that it's only until now that I start to know a little bit more of the crews in England. When I just came here, I was like, I'm just a little girl from Mexico.
Do you think that there is a golden ticket, or it's just luck to get into the world of unit stills?
I feel like you have to be extremely disciplined. I don't feel there's a golden ticket. You have to be super creative. You have to be extremely organized with your files. You have to be a great shooter. You have to be super speedy. You have to be likable and create good rapport with the cast and with the crew. You have to understand when it's a good time and when it's not a good time. You have to know which fights you pick and which ones you just let go. There's no golden ticket. It's honestly just hard, honest work.
And do you consider yourself as a people person or no? Or are you more on the shy side of things?
I'm very sneaky. I wear black head to toe. I mean, I'm sure all the stills do. But I am very rigorous with my clothing. I try to call the least attention to myself. I try to be super discreet until I have to make myself known. You know, I always say hello to the cast. I always say hello to the first AD. I always say hello to everyone. You know, the soundies and stills, you know, we're in the same spot fighting for the space.
Yeah. And but do you, when you come to do dailies on shows, there is a show that has been running already, the crew, they kind of know each other, and you need to push for your space. Do you feel like shy? Oh, I'm coming into this set that there is people already going, or do you feel like I'm Ana, I'm a still photographer, this is my spot, and I need to be here? What's your approach when it comes to dailies?
Definitely not so forward, especially if I'm doing dailies and covering for a photographer. I can understand that they are the lead photographer and I'm just camera B, but I still will always try to make the best. I will always try to be polite and respectful with everyone I meet and just try to read the cues of when it's a good time and take the best possible picture.
But do you feel intimidating when you walk into a set that has been already rolling for a few days?
Not really. I feel that crews are very friendly and they understand that stills might not be there every day. Also, the call sheet always tells when the unit stills is coming, which is a little bit strange for me. Yeah. Everyone be alarmed, the stills is going to be there.
And photographers always say that you need a famous face in your portfolio in order to get the next big gig.
I think it definitely helps, especially for growing your Instagram.
But well, do you get a job offer because of the amount of followers you have?
Well, I feel that having a decent Instagram following, it doesn't mean you're gonna get a job, but it means that you're legitimate, like you're legit in a way.
Okay.
I think that's, I mean, you know, not all stills photographers have a massive following.
Yeah, exactly.
And some of them are amazing and they have 800 followers or less. But I think that having a following does help to make you look like you know what you're doing. And
have you done any workshops or courses in regards of unit sales, or everything you learn on set from your Mexican Netflix set days?
Yeah, I feel that Mexico was my school.
Wow.
and the publicists that helped me get where I am right now. I honestly owe so much to the publicists that have hired me through the years. I have only gratitude for them to trusting me with going into these shows and photographing a production that is worth millions. That's what I'm saying. The responsibility is insane. You know,
insane.
as stills photographers, we owe so much.
Because you're basically creating a whole marketing campaign for them.
Yes. And if a production costs millions, that's how the pictures have to look, right? You will be making a disservice to the production if the pictures look bad.
And on your Mexican days, have you ever had a bad review in regards of, not a bad review as in, Ana, you suck at this, but did they give you any feedback of what your picture should improve on?
Yeah, I guess I did. You know, like it has to look more I've received feedback of like maybe the images need to look more episodic. Maybe we need more pull asides or portraits of the cast. Try to leave more space in the frames because there might be some text. You know, I feel that now when you're about to do a show, you'll get a deck, what it's called, of what the images should look like.
Yeah, of what they want.
But back in the day, I really rarely got one. So it's just that now the industry has changed.
And Anatomy of the Scandal, Top Boy, we are bigger shows now. After that, you got Man vs. Bee, Dated Related, The Crown.
I only did a few dailies on The Crown. I was covering for a different photographer.
But still, that's a massive name.
Yeah, it was great. It was super fun.
Were you not scared of coming into such a big set?
No, I actually know. I feel that I belong there and I deserve there. If a name is in the call sheet, I'm equal as everyone else.
The reason why I ask you is when I interviewed Gareth, I asked him, how do you feel on your first day of Victoria? Because he was coming from indie. He had like Rise of the Foot Soldier, and after that he was able to get Victoria. He started a journey as a still photographer for Victoria, and he said that the first day he walked on set, he said he just saw all this thing happening, like horses, 2 cameras, and him there being so inexperienced on bigger set than he was used to. He was like, what the fuck, what do I do now, sort of thing. But you push through the like being scared and stuff like that, and you go through, you put like 5th gear and you just go and you get on with it and you try to do your best. So I just feel like the crowd was, wow, big sets. It
was really cool.
Cool, big set, cool sets, cool people, and all.
Amazing actors.
Yeah. So it was definitely bigger than what you were doing. So,
yeah, for sure.
In regards of crew.
But I guess I never felt scared. I feel more scared of showing the pictures than being on the set, if that makes sense. Sometimes I'm worried that the pictures are not going to be to the publicist's liking or they don't meet certain standards. At the end, so far, I think they have done. But I think it scares me most what results I am going to get than my relationship with the space. If I don't know if I'm making myself clear.
I understand. Yeah. Okay.
I'm more worried that my pictures are gonna deliver more than
what you actually see in that anything else.
Yeah.
You said that from Top Boy that got you Gang of London.
Yes. Literally the publicist told me.
What? After Top Boy?
No,
or?
he was like, oh yeah, I saw you're working in Top Boy, so do you want to do gangs? Yeah, I would love to do gangs. I've never done something outside Netflix.
This is another thing. The only experience you had has always been Netflix. You are just shooting Netflix all the time. So how was working for Sky and a different publicist?
Yeah, it was great. It's so much fun. I'm so happy to diversify my list of clients and to work with more people. If anything, what I want is to work with as many productions and streamers as possible, and as physically as I can.
And
but I am very grateful for Netflix for hiring me
so many times.
Yeah, I absolutely love them.
And we got as well, because your IMDb is not updated.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll do that before this comes out.
So we got Gangs of London. Everything Now.
Yes, Everything Now is really cute.
Is that Netflix or what is it?
Yes, it is Netflix. I love teenage dramas.
Ah, you love teenage drama.
I absolutely do. That's why Control Z is also a teenage drama from Mexico, but Everything Now is a teenage drama, and I absolutely love working on those.
Nice. And what comes after? So is Everything Now? Black Mirror is more recent.
Well, I did just one episode though.
On Black Mirror.
Yeah, season 6.
Covering for someone.
Yes.
Is this in order? So we got Guns of London, Everything Now, Black Mirror.
I don't actually think it's in order.
Okay,
I've done a lot of reality TV. There's this show called Perfect Match.
You do a lot of unscripted.
Yes, I like unscripted.
How does it work being a set photographer on unscripted show?
It's so fun. There's like 20 cameras.
Exactly. Damn right. So
I love that.
You have like a
There's
million...
no eyeline. It's great. You don't have to worry about the eyeline.
Yeah, but what... So they're all filming at all times. You're always going to be on a camera pointing at you. And but what do you know? What to take a picture of?
Right. So I think that goes back. So when we started, you asked me if I was like shy or what was my personality. I think why I blossom in unscripted is because I'm very sneaky. I'm very discreet. I'm very quiet. I'm not there doing banter. I'm there like focusing on my job.
Yeah.
Because it's so typical that the first AD starts getting stressed and he's like, quiet on set. And the first person they're going to look at is the stills photographer. I promise you. So I always try.
Who do you talk to?
Well, you can be talking to the soundies. You can be talking to the camera operators. I don't know. So many people.
You did a few, let me see. You did a few of unscripted, Too Hot to Handle?
Yeah, so that was my first unscripted show.
That's unscripted, isn't it? Yeah.
And then Perfect Match, I've done.
Yeah.
And then I worked with Warner in a cooking show.
Okay.
I did actually with Warner. Well, it's Warner Food Network.
Okay.
Three cooking shows with them.
That's
so fun.
That's a US production.
Yes.
They're filming in London.
Yes. It's really cool.
It just boggles my brain because all the space that they got in the US and you're filming here.
I know, but Worst Cooks in America was incredibly fun. It was 3 weeks all packed in, and you get to eat a lot of nice food. And they have like this season that it's with celebrities, and then with normal people, and then with celebrities, and it's just
is it like
fun.
is it a little bit like Gordon Ramsay's Hell Kitchen sort of thing?
Yeah. It has like a vibe of like cooking shows. And then I had the opportunity to go to Italy to do Chow House, that it's also a cooking reality competition. Cooking reality competitions are so fun. You get to eat so much nice food.
But do you get a list from the publicist saying what? Because that's another thing. Like, what do you take pictures of?
I feel that unscripted shows has a lot more requirements than scripted.
What are the requirements?
So you get this list that is like plates, also the dishes. The dishes, maybe they ask you for like 3 or 4 different angles of the dish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then you have to do cast announcements. And if it's a competition, you have to do the groups, and also you have to do unit, and then you have to photograph the judges, and then you have to photograph the judging itself. So it's like a mixture of portraiture, food photography, unit stills, editorial.
I'm guessing the easy part of it that you're always going to get picked up by a camera, so it doesn't matter where you go as long as you get the shot, isn't it?
Well, you have to be... I always try to be very rigorous with what they ask of me and try to deliver.
Yeah, but if you have 20 cameras filming on a scripted show, you're always going to get on one of them.
It is a matter of time. It is a matter of time.
Yeah, there is always a camera is going to pick at you and said, photographer in shot.
It is definitely a matter of time. I think that for unscripted, getting along with the floor manager or first AD.
Yep.
I mean, any show. If you want to get something, you have to talk to the first AD.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
But unscripted, if you want to make your shooting list a reality, which can be very extensive, you need to talk to the floor manager / first AD to make that happen. So, and also I think that one of the best qualities of being a still photographer is learning to read the room.
Yeah.
When are you welcome and when maybe you need to take a little step back?
When you do unscripted, you know that normally on shows these days, they only hire you for dailies, a few days here, depends on the episode and stuff like that. When you do unscripted, is that pretty much the whole duration of the shoot of the show?
I've done both.
Okay.
I've done full-time,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
Yeah.
I love a good full-time job. I think that doing full-time, as you say, like maybe when you're daily, going into a new crew can be a little bit daunting.
Yep.
So if you're doing full-time, you build up a relationship with the crew, which is great.
Yeah.
It can make your life easier in many ways.
Yeah, because it's like a well-oiled machine, so you know what's gonna piss off the boom operator and where to stand in between and what to negotiate, what not to negotiate. But I just feel like when you come on dailies, it's like you have a job to do. These people that are kind of used to not having you, and all of a sudden there is an extra person in the room that you need to be mindful of.
Which takes a lot of space.
Yeah, and you come in with your two bodies on it and saying, "Excuse me, I need to be next to the camera to do the stills," sort of thing. I mean, no.
Not like that. I
Not
mean,
like
at
that,
least
but-
not me.
Yeah, no, I get it, but you have a responsibility as well.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like it becomes tricky when you come to do dailies on a show that you haven't been.
I don't know. If I have something really specific that I need and I'm doing a daily, I'll just go to the first AD and tell them, hey, first AD, I'm here for the day with this specific mission.
So you go to him with a list that you think that you have to do already.
Yes. Can you tell me when is the right time? And they obviously have a lot in their mind.
Yeah.
You know, your shooting list is the least of their concerns.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's good that they are in the loop.
Yeah.
And the producers.
Yeah.
And probably the cast.
Yeah.
Because that way, when you ask or you step up or you take more space, it's less like, what's going on? It's more like, oh, okay, yeah, she did flag that. So, and that's really helpful in unscripted.
Yeah, I just feel like unscripted is just hard work.
It is hard work because it is long hours.
What's your turnaround of images for unscripted then?
The turnaround for every show I've done is you cannot take more than a week with the pictures.
No, okay, hang on.
Oh, you mean on
JPEG,
like next day?
Next day, JPEGs.
For every show.
For everything.
I've never done a show where I don't have to deliver proofs next day.
Wow. And RAWs and stuff like that? The end of the
Less
shoot.
than a week.
Okay. Well, you put it, we transfer them.
No one uses WeTransfer for RAWs. Are you crazy?
Okay. Well, the
A lot
FTP?
of the companies,
FTP.
they have deals with like different
STPs,
companies. Some of them like to use hard drives.
Yeah. Well, in the indie world, where I am, sometimes if I don't do many days, and it's not worth for producers to buy a hard drive, we transfer the raw files to them.
Maybe I need to start shooting more indie
And
to learn the hard way.
And they're happy with. I mean, yeah, I think that you came so far now from like high-end stuff that indie world is gonna be like a walk in the park.
I feel that every show, TV, or if it's big or small, they all have challenges and they all have rewards.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've done a few independents in England. I've never done an independent film in Mexico or independent like shorts. I've done more now that I'm here in London. They're super fun. I just love being on set, really. I'm just.
Do you still get that passion when you walk into set?
Absolutely.
Because I get that.
It's such a rush.
Exciting.
So exciting.
And
honestly, I feel so much gratitude because there's so many talented photographers out there. The industry is highly competitive. There's so many good people doing incredible images. So if you're trusting me with your show, wow, thank you so much.
Do you feel like the unit still environment sort of thing, is it overcrowded now?
I don't know, but it is competitive. there is a lot of people doing good stuff, and there's only a limited shows that are filming.
Well, you only have one photographer per show, so
Exactly. It's not like camera crew, you know?
yeah, you have 2 cameras and 3 people behind each camera. Yeah. Stepping away from unit still, there is another thing that you do, which is film work.
Yes, I work a lot with 35mm color photography.
How that relationship with 35mm became? Was that a hobby sort of thing? Or?
No, hobbies. Passion. Love. It's absolutely love. It's not a hobby for me. I take it extremely seriously.
No, but what I mean is it started as a hobby from your digital thing that you wanted to step back a little bit and start using 35 just to kind of learn something new, or it was just the same?
I think you are in the right position. It does help me sometimes to detach from taking digital photography, because you can take 500 pictures in a day easily.
Yeah,
maybe more. And with 35, you get 24, 36. So you have to be more conscious. You have to be more mindful. Yeah. But I think that being a good film photographer makes you a good digital photographer. Not the other way around, though. Because with 35, you have to imagine the shot.
Yeah, you have to work it out before you shoot it and consider if it's going to work or not.
And you have to know the camera. You need to understand it, how the actual camera works.
You became an ambassador for Analog Wonderland. I think that they are the main distributors of film, like England-wide sort of thing.
Yes.
At least they are the most recognized. There are like indies and stuff like that they sell, but I think that Analog is there. How that the relationship started?
They had an open call on Instagram and I replied to it. I really like Analog Wonderland. I had an obsession with Portra 400 film. Mm-hmm. And when I met Analog Wonderland, my obsession went away. There's so many cool films to try. Yeah. There's so many interesting soups and stuff that you can do. It really opened my world on what else is out there. I had like this just portrait all the time. Mm-hmm. And now I'm testing all these films with them. They have been really kind with me. They took me to the photography show to have a conference.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
That was really cool. They send me film all the time to test and just play with. We've been organizing photo walks.
Oh yeah.
And it just helps me to also to be part of the community. I'm friends with some of the ambassadors. I respect them, all of them. They're all super talented in their own scope. And it's nice just to be able to hang out with like-minded people, because sometimes being a photographer is quite lonely. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously, if you're doing something big, you always get a team, but sometimes it's just yourself. So it's nice to have like relationships with people who just love it as much as you do.
Well, this is one of the reasons that I do the podcast. It's just not only for people to know more about the unit still work and stuff like that, but it's as well to put a voice on those people that on those faces that people see on Instagram, so they get to know more your personality and what you kind of sound like and how your brain sort of works, and to kind of build some sort of like a closer community with a kind of unit still photographers that is a lot of us here in the UK, and I don't think that is like really well connected, or at least not all of them. I know that the big ones they all know each other, but what about the up and coming, or the people that might want to find out more information about unit still? Is that something that could be interesting in doing? So that's kind of the reason of the podcast. And with your 35mm, have you ever shot 35 on a film or on a project?
Yes, I mostly have done as prop pictures. So prop pictures are the pictures inside the picture, the photos inside the film, the photos inside the TV show.
Yeah.
I've also, and so the thing is that if you're doing like an old school, let's say the show is supposed to be in the 70s.
Yeah.
A lot of directors want the prop pictures to be made with like a certain particular
camera
and film.
Okay.
So it looks like it belongs in the era. I've also done prop pictures with a Polaroid film, and they wanted something specific. So if you don't know how to use a Polaroid film, you would not have been able to do that gig.
Do you apart from what you said, Portra 400, is there another film stock that you're a fan of?
Yeah, I like Candido a lot.
Yeah.
Lisbon. I don't know. I've been testing so many. But I'm obsessed with Candido right now, to be honest.
I just came back from Argentina and I took Hectare 100 and Color Plus 200. I absolutely love them. The colors that came out from those film stock, I absolutely love them. I was using like Ultramax 400 and the other one, the
Kodak Gold.
Yeah, I don't like them. I
don't mind them, you know. I feel that sometimes the best film, I don't really particularly love black and white. I really like color. Sometimes it's the cheapest is the best. And Hectare is very affordable. Kodak Gold is very affordable. And they have great results, in my opinion.
Do you own a lot of 35mm cameras? Or no?
Not as many as I used to.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because since I haven't been back in Mexico for 6 years, basically, my mom was like, we need to get rid of this.
Okay.
So when I was young, my dream was to have, you know how like old people have like cabinets with plates and stuff?
Yeah.
So my dream was that, but
That's
with
very
cameras.
Latin America. Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly.
That's very Latin American.
But my dream was that, but with cameras.
Yeah.
And I was so building my collection of working and not working cameras.
Yeah.
But now, basically, here in England, I have a nice point and shoot, like a decent one, and a professional 35mm body.
What's your professional body?
F100?
F100.
Nikon F100.
Yeah, I was about that.
It's so nice.
And
Lush.
what's your point and shoot?
It's a Nikon LD2 or something like that it's called. Yeah, I'm a Nikon girly.
Okay. And Elizabeth Holmes.
Oh yeah, that was super fun. When I still worked in Mexico, Elizabeth Holmes, which is now in prison.
Yeah, I've seen that on your... That's why I wanted to ask you.
I think it's the only felon I've ever photographed. Or at least convicted. I don't think I've ever photographed another one.
What happened? Why is she in prison? How? First of all, what did you photograph her on what?
So she was interviewing in Mexico with surprisingly, I mean, this is how big she was, with like one of let's say the NHS of Mexico.
Okay.
To sell them her products of like testing blood.
Okay.
With a few drops. So that's why she was in Mexico. And I used to work in a business magazine. So before I went full-time as a photographer, I worked as a photo editor many years in different magazines. And that time I was working as a photo coordinator in a business magazine. And we just did a profile of her. But I absolutely love that portrait. I still believe...
you went on assignment?
I went on assignment. And I still think that is one of my best portraits till date.
Really?
It was exhibited in Japan. It's been everywhere, that portrait. I love it. It's great.
How did she end up convicted after that?
Oh, well, it turns out, if you haven't seen this TV show, because you've done one now, that her product was not doing what she said it did. And she defrauded a lot of people and ended up in prison.
Wow. You took a picture of someone that was really famous and all of a sudden he wasn't famous at all.
Maybe it's one of my most famous faces. Talking about famous faces.
You reckon? What? None of your unit work are famous faces?
I don't know. Because one thing is being an actor, but another thing is to be a public pest. I mean, they're both. I don't know.
Well, like a paparazzi sort of thing.
Okay, so
famous.
I think the most famous person I've ever photographed is Rowan Atkinson.
100%.
100%.
On Man vs. Bee. 100%. 100%. Yeah, that's the face.
In my opinion, one of the biggest British actors in the world.
How was it working with him?
It's great. He's very professional.
Mm-hmm.
He's extremely creative. And it's just... And he likes the studio. So we were a lot in studio. Nice. It was great. It was a great show. I'm really happy with the results. And I'm super grateful of being able to work with such a legend.
What was your bigger lesson that you learned on set?
Patience. You'll get there. Just be patient. Creativity, and find a good standing spot.
And what advice could you recommend? What advice could you give to someone that wants to start out as a unit stills?
I would say get really good at studio because you can do a lot of key art if you're very good. And I don't know, try your best. It's a very hard industry.
Yeah, I figured that out.
It's not an easy job. It's not easy to get in. It's not easy to continue. It's not easy to being on set. So it is a tough job, but it is extremely rewarding. So
And
maybe that's not a tip.
a few people told me to be what you say about being patient.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely.
It's not.
You have to build a relationship.
Yeah, it's not something that happens from one day to another one.
No, it's building your portfolio, building your clients, building your
But
relationships.
This is what Gareth said. That is a people-person job. Is if you are on set because you have to be likable, you have to be easy to work with.
Absolutely.
You don't have to be like a deck on set or anything.
Reliable.
Like that. Reliable, yeah. Turn up on time.
Creative.
Well, more than creative, what I heard a lot was just be nice to work with, because the last thing they want, the last thing they want is someone to delay the shoot or cause or trouble or be a pain in the ass to work with.
Absolutely true.
So that's what more of the feeling that I'm getting from these interviews. What system are you using now?
Camera wise, Nikon.
Always Nikon? What bodies are you on?
I have a Z8 and a Z7. And I always carry a 24-70 and 70-200.
Sally was telling me that she's still on a Z7 for some reason. I thought that you might go for a Z8, I said to her, because she has a Z9 and a Z7. I said, oh, you have still a Z7. I thought you might have a Z8 by now. And you the same. You didn't upgrade it to another for the second body as a Z8. Because the thing is that I heard what I heard from Z6 and Z7 was that the Nikon's technology wasn't there.
Yeah, that's true.
That at the time that
they were
got
like
released,
the first mirrorless.
At the time of being released, there were like better cameras in the market.
Sony.
But they step up the game with the Z8 and the Z9. They kind of
Z8. I mean, I didn't want to get the Z9 because I feel it's too big, too bulky.
Yeah,
I'm not a very big person, and also I get tired if I carried like so much weight. Yeah, which you kind of have to, but let's try to be lighter.
Yeah,
but I'm obsessed with the Z8.
Yeah,
absolute beast. So happy. The follow focus. Oh my god, the ISO, the speed. Like you can shoot. I mean. Don't recommend that. I feel like a lot of stills photographers are very tempted to the scene.
I don't do that anymore. Just after that, you have to go through them.
Exactly.
No, not anymore.
But I love the Z8. I'm obsessed with it. But the Z7 is super light. And that helps a lot. It's tiny.
And do you have a favorite focal length that you like to shoot on?
50 mil.
So you had a 50.
I love a 50. They're so tasty.
I think that 50 is too tight. I like 35, 40, 50.
I have a 30 that I actually just bought from a different stills photographer. But I do...
What, 30?
Yes.
Is that focal length? I thought it was 35.
I think it's a 30.
Okay.
But I do love a 50. All my analog work is 50 mil. Well, not all of it, but like a big chunk of it.
But do you have any primes that you use on your set bodies?
The 30. But also my 24-70 and my 70-200 are very nice.
Are they...
2.8.
Yeah, but are they the mirrorless versions of the... And
yeah, because the adapter doesn't cut it.
Doesn't cut it?
No.
Well, this is the thing.
You have to change the lens.
I use the adapters on my 70-200 and the 24-70, and it works just as fine. I tried out. Well, this is a Canon system, and I tried out the mirrorless version of the 24-70, and I tried out on a gallery shoot, and it said, well, the pictures are kind of similar. And the reason why I stuck to the 24-70 is because on my analog camera, I have a Canon EOS 50 from 95.
So you can use the lens.
So I can use the same lenses. And I absolutely loved how sharp the images are on a 2016 or 18 lens, on how it looks on a film camera. Because that's a personal project that I have, is to combine old and new, and to shoot like on film, but with like top of the class glass, which then existed back in 95. My 7200 got released in 2018. Put it out on a film stock. I absolutely love it because it's different.
Yeah, it's sharp.
Yeah, it's sharp. Nothing like film. But it has a little bit of a film look in the back.
Yeah, I like it.
And
my F100 is the same. I use DSLR lenses.
Same. And it's give you exactly the same result.
It is nice.
And so yeah, you shoot Nikon. No prime lenses on your Nikon apart from the 30. And you done all your work with that. Wow. So you never struggle in low light.
No, you need a monopod. Monopods are your friends.
Oh, really? You use a monopod on set?
All the time.
That's a top tip.
Top tip. Absolutely. Monopods, heaven.
Wow. Where do you want to be in 5 years? Is there a specific job that you want to, like a specific show or feature film or platform that you would like to work with?
I think I would like to do a film. I've never worked in a film.
Okay, they were all series. Yeah.
They're all TV shows.
Yeah.
I've done, as I've mentioned previously, The Kitchen was a film, but I only did the reshoot. I only did a few days.
Okay,
It was
so
not.
dailies,
It's not the same.
Yeah.
I did love it though. Anyway, I would like to do a film, and I would like to do more posters.
More gallery shoot. What gear would you recommend to someone starting out? From your Nikon point of view.
I mean, if you can afford it, a mirrorless professional, just get Sony.
What, straight on?
Yeah.
Straight on.
Just go full frame mirrorless in whatever format.
Okay. With whatever brand.
Whatever brand you can afford.
Lens wise?
24, 70, 70 to 100.
Because what happens? The reason I asked this question is because when I was starting out I'm still kind of starting out in the indie world. People don't really they want to have the biggest camera, but they don't really have a lot of lighting. So sometimes the 2470 doesn't cut it, and you have to really go high on ISO. And once that I purchased my 35 1.4, it was a massive game changer on the quality of images I was producing in low light, especially in the indie world where everything is just low budget.
I feel that a lot of TV shows are super dark.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and everything is filmed backlit.
Yeah, fucking backlit. It's so
and
hard.
Backlit is really hard to focus.
That's really hard. Manual focus.
No.
You never manual focus?
No. I wear glasses.
But you have focus picking on your cameras.
No. I never manual focus. Are
really?
You crazy? No. Ever.
Well, I have my 35 is really old. It's the first version of the Prime. So the focus motors are really noisy. So there are times where, this is why I love mirrorless, because there are times where I use focus picking on my camera and I just manual focus on the first or last position that the actor is going to be.
That's what I'm saying about mirrorless lenses.
They're but you have to afford it.
Oh, yeah. And if you don't have a good gig.
No, you can't. I mean, they're really expensive.
They're really expensive. They're beautiful though. Totally worth it.
I know. What's next for you now? Do you have anything?
Yeah, I have a lot of shows coming out that I'm quite excited about. There's this one called Too Much with Lena Dunham that I think is going to be a blast.
Mm-hmm.
Some stuff that I did with BBC that I've never worked with them before.
New client,
New client. So I'm really excited of working with them. There's also some reality TV coming out with Netflix that I'm really pumped about. Some scripted shows with Netflix that are coming out that I'm really excited. A season 2 with Sky, which is going to be great. It's going to be super fun. And yeah, right now I'm filming something for BBC at the moment. So I'm really happy to be working with Sky, with Warner, with Netflix, obviously.
Yeah.
And
nice. Excellent.
Good shows coming out.
Ana, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Rego.
Hi, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. I really hope that you enjoy it, and if you did, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and let me know down below who would you like me to interview next. Until then, I'm gonna see you on the next episode.